Good afternoon, students. Today we are starting a new unit. In the previous unit, we have discussed about the first step, that is, selecting and delimiting a research problem. Once we have finalized our research problem, then comes the second step, that is reading available literature about that particular topic selected. And in the introductory classes I have mentioned that even though we are discussing a review of literature as a second step, this literature review sometimes extends from even before beginning the research, because we'll get a spark of research from reading literature. And the sources of research problem we have discussed. Sometimes we get a research problem while reading literature. So review of literature starts even before the research question and extend till the last phase of research process, that is the communication and the utilization of the findings. So that much important is literature review. So literature, without literature, reading literature, it is not possible to conduct research. I mean, this is the connecting link. Literature review is the connecting link between the previous studies and the future studies. Now, through this bridge only we can travel to the past to know about all the aspect of research and what was done previously by numerous other scientists about this topic. And this is the bridge we are traveling to the future, which others can see and analyze your research study. So that much important is the review of literature. Now next we will see what is the meaning or the definition of review of literature. Literature review, when we hear the term, we always think that it's only reading a book or a journal. But it is not only reading a journal or a book or some material related to or information related to our research study. But literature review is the identification, choosing, critical analysis and writing information systematically on a topic of interest. So it involves a chain of activities, a cluster of work, a group of activities by the researcher. It starts from identifying literature. After that we have to choose. There are so many things will be there, like you are entering into a sari shop. Too many saris will be there, but you have to choose. So identify first, then choosing, reading. After that you have to read. Then after reading you have to critically analyze the content of literature, critically analyzing, and then you have to document your findings, what you've read, what your analysis, all those things you have to write down, writing information, and this writing down is to be done systematically on the topic of interest. This we call as review of literature. So I'll repeat once more. The definition of review of literature is the identification, choosing, critical analysis and writing information systematically on a topic of interest. Now this can be asked as an essay or sometimes as a short note but an important question for university examination. So you have to learn thoroughly about the definition and the following points what we are discussing in the unit 2. What is the purpose of literature review? Why we have to do literature review? Why we are giving a lot of importance to this particular topic? The important purposes are, it is important and good source of research ideas and methodology. So we will be able to know from A to Z of a research study by merely reading. We cannot do any study without reading. So find out all the important sources of that particular research to get more and more ideas about research. When we read more, we'll get more ideas, and the important methodology, how we can do this study beautifully without any errors. So the accurate methodology and the more ideas will get only from literature. That is why we are saying it is an important and good source of research ideas and methodology. The second purpose is orientation to what is known and what is not known. As a researcher who is doing a study on this particular topic should know what is present knowledge, what is the present science about our research topic, what is the important strengths and where the knowledge is lacking, what is not known. So our intention is to find out what is not known, or to see that is there something wrong with the known thing. So that is why we need an orientation to what is known and what is not known, and this we will get only by reading literature. Then the third thing is determination of any gaps in the knowledge. Now there will be lot of gap will be there in the present knowledge. Now where the gap exists, we should identify. Then only we will be able to fill that particular gap by new inventions or discoveries. So that is possible only if we identify the gap in the present knowledge by reading. Now we know that you might have heard about M.T. Vasudevan Nair. He has written a beautiful novel called Rendamuzham, and in the introduction he has mentioned that is the most important novel of M.T. and beautifully written novel which consists of several pages. But in the introduction he has mentioned that he was trying to find the gaps that is existing in the present Mahabharata written by Vedavyasa. So he identified the gaps in the Mahabharata, and he tried to fill the gap or develop the gap, develop the silence that is existing, that was existed in the Mahabharata. So he brought the silence and he developed the gaps in that, and he wrote another novel. Similarly, if as a scientist, as a researcher, if we are able to identify what is the lacunae, what is the deficiency, where the gap in the present knowledge, then only we are able to add more and more knowledge into the science and fill the gap. So the fourth purpose is to avoid repetition or need for replication. If we are doing a very beautiful study with because every research study you need a lot of expenditure, personal work. You have to spend a lot of time, energy, material and other resources for conducting research. So after conducting all those things, you found that, or somebody others pointed out that a similar study was conducted in the same population and with the same results, then all your study is going to become a waste because it is a repetition. So once you read literature and identified prior to your study, then you could have avoided that, or you could have done this particular study in some other population. And some studies need repetition also. So this study was done, but some additional point, or this study can be replicated in some other population to see the effect of this. So in order to identify that also, we should read literature. So to avoid repetition and for the need for replication, we should read literature. So next purpose is to update knowledge. As we know that knowledge is always changing. New knowledge is coming on every hour or every day. Something is added to knowledge. And what we see now as a right now is become wrong tomorrow. So in order to update knowledge, we have to read. There is no other way than reading literature. So in order to update knowledge, we should read literature. So next purpose is to locate important data for interpretation and comparison. So we have to locate important data for interpretation and comparison. See, interpretation, that is giving meaning for our findings, and comparison, these are the two important aspects of research. Comparison, we have to compare our findings with the others' findings, because that will give added weightage for our study. Example, in a study conducted in Trivandrum or in United States of America, they got the similar finding, and we also got a similar finding. So that's giving more added weightage for practicing. So if you want to utilize the finding into clinical practice, if more scientists got the same result, means without any problem we can practice this. So that is a comparison. Comparison is always needed in research. We have to compare with the other people's findings. So for that we need more research, similar researches that we'll collect by review of literature. Then again, interpreting our findings, we should read literature, and for that we have to locate important data. We have to collect important data for these two things by reading literature. So next purpose is identification of funding and experts. As I mentioned before, research is need a lot of expenditure. So sometimes we may not be able to meet all the expenses with our own pocket. So we need help of funding agencies. So only by reading and searching, we will be able to find out the funding agencies which fund a similar topic, because the funding agencies will differ. That will give fund for by taking into account of the topic which you have selected, agency which conduct the research. So many factors are there. So we should search for a suitable funding agency which appropriately fund your research. That also will get only by reading. And sometimes we need the help of numerous experts related to this subject, because we need a lot of expertise, advices, guidance, directions, and help for conducting research. So these expert help also will be able to identify by reading research. So next purpose is to evaluate research process. So as a whole, our research process which we are passing through, that research process can be evaluated by reading research, by collecting literature. Finally, to provide conceptual context of our study, because we are conducting our research within a conceptual context by taking a theory and converting that into concept and fitting our concept into that framework. We develop a conceptual framework. Every study, that is a backbone. We need a conceptual framework. So this conceptual framework, a suitable conceptual framework, we are able to select by reading literature. So these are some of the purposes of literature review. So I'll repeat once more. It's an important and good source of research idea and methodology, orientation to what is known and what is not known, determination of any gaps in the available literature, to avoid repetition or need for replication, to update knowledge, to locate important data for interpretation and comparison, identification of funding and experts, to evaluate research process, and to provide conceptual context. Now next we'll see about the location for literature review, from where we can find out the sources. Means there are different type of sources like books, journals, and other documents. Where we'll get, that is a location. So important locations for literature review are library, electronic media, experienced individuals, groups and organizations, government departments, and mass media. Now in the present age, even electronic media is the most important location where, and the most searched location. Even though we say that it is more convenient, always we mention that libraries are the most important location, because electronic media, what is fed there, that only is available, but there are numerous other sources which is not present in the electronic media, that will get only from library. And libraries can be very small library to huge libraries where millions of books and journals are available. But nowadays all the libraries have electronic component also, because without that it cannot be exist. That is why electronic component is there. But library is the most important location. As I mentioned, most popular one is electronic media, where using internet and using CD disk, etc., we will get literature. So this is the electronic media. Now third thing is the experienced individual groups and organizations. Experienced individuals or the concerned gates of research, or a group of researchers and organizations. So they are the people who advise you, will guide you to locate and identify the correct literature. They will give you a clue about where that is available and how we have to obtain this. And they will give lot of information about this topic, especially the methodological aspect of your research. They will give clues or help you to identify the important tools for collection of data related to your topic. So experienced individual, groups and organization serves as another location. Government department is another one, because that is the most authenticated documents. For example, census report. Without any doubt, you can quote census report for any of the data related to population, or numerous surveys conducted by government departments. The health department itself will publish so many documents about the disease and health, vital indicators. So all this type of data that can be collected from the health departments, sometimes about the village offices, panchayats, even the I would mention like even the non-health department, or the what we call as the voluntary agencies. There also you will get a lot of information. For example, the Indian Medical Association, Red Cross, WHO, UNICEF, other United Nations organizations. Then a lot of voluntary agencies. From there also it will serve as a location. Then many information will get the mass media. For example, newspapers and magazines will publish a lot of data. I mean, that's collected or given by the government department, etc. They will publish. So this also serves as a location. So important locations for literature review are library, electronic media, experienced individual groups and organizations, governmental departments and the voluntary agencies or NGOs, non-governmental departments, and the mass media. So the sources of literature review, we classify sources into primary sources and secondary sources. What is a primary source? Is information obtained directly from literature written by the primary researcher or author is the primary source. And the secondary source is a second person referring the primary source. For example, if I am conducting a study and I am writing an article about that particular study, and if you are getting information data from that, that's a primary source. In other ways, you are conducting a study and you are publishing, and a similar study was conducted by me, and I am saying that in a study conducted by so and so, this is the finding, and if you are reading that, that becomes a secondary source. So it can be a secondary or tertiary source. So primary sources and secondary sources are important for research study, but there are a lot of differences between primary and secondary source. We always say that primary source is the most important source, where we'll get a good quality data, more reliable data. Where the secondary source is also good, but it's not that much reliable. Sometimes some misappropriations or miswording, etc. can be there in the secondary source. So we'll see the difference between primary source and secondary source. Primary source, findings are given by the researcher, primary researcher. Secondary source, findings are given by another person. It's a second or tertiary person. You can depend fully on primary source because that is a first-hand information, but not possible to depend fully on the secondary source. In the first year classes, you might have done an exercise about communication, about the first-hand communication, and how when the communication passes from one person to another person to next person, there will be a lot of changes takes place. So this can happen to some extent in the secondary source. Now the third difference is there is no chance of bias in the primary source, but there are chances of bias to some extent is there in the secondary source. interpretation is correct in the primary source, but chances of misinterpretation is there for the secondary source. Cross reference is possible in primary source, but less chance of cross reference in the secondary source. See, what is cross reference is, in an article I am giving references. So from that reference, you can go back and collect that articles. That becomes a primary article again. So similarly, from that one, I will give 10 references. So you can take those 10 journals, and from each journal you will get another 10 or 12 articles again. So this is from one literature you will get hundreds and thousands of literature by cross-referencing. But this cross-referencing is not possible in the secondary source. Then the primary source, we are able to understand the experience of researcher and extraneous variables, because they will explain about their first-hand experience. While collecting data, there are some other variables have influence, or why the researcher got these findings, even though if the expected finding is something else, why this finding they got, and what is the influencing factors for this. All those experiences and extraneous variables, etc., will get the only from the primary report, whereas we will give less importance to the experience of the researcher and extraneous variables in the secondary source. Primary source is always a better source of literature, but secondary source, it's a good, you can depend, but it's only a supplementary source. Finally, primary source is written as statements, but secondary sources is usually written as summary, quotation, or as a paraphrase. So this is the major difference between primary source and secondary source. So in a summary, you can say that it's always better to find the primary source or the primary article and read the primary article, other than quoting the secondary sources. But secondary sources also, if primary sources are unavailable, you can depend on the secondary source, or you can go for the cross-referencing from there also. Now these are the important sources of literature. As I mentioned, from the location we get the sources. So from library or internet sources, we will get these type of sources. It can be textbooks, journals, computer-based informations, government publications, publications of organizations, newspapers and magazines, unpublished information, encyclopedias and dictionaries, and conference papers. But unpublished information sometimes from the library only we will get. It's not available because it is not published. It is not available in the computer based or other informations. Mainly from libraries or from the departments for reading we will get the unpublished information. So I'll repeat once more: textbooks about that particular topic, journals related to your study, computer based informations, government publications, publications of organization, that is mainly NGOs, newspapers and magazines, unpublished information, encyclopedias and dictionaries, and conference papers. Now next we'll see about the method of literature review. How we have to do the literature review. What are the important methods available? There are two important methods: manual method and electronic method. These are the two important methods. Manual method, as I mentioned before, is reading. Take a book or a journal or a document, you read that. This is the manual method. Electronic method is looking at the computer or an electronic media and reading or taking a printout. All those things are the electronic method. Electronic method, there are two types: electronic database and online search. Electronic database means that is a already stored material in a computer disk about a particular topic. Online search is using a search device like Google, Chrome, etc. Using a search device, we will search and get the related material. This is an online search. So what are the methods of literature review? Manual methods and electronic methods. And there are two types of electronic methods: electronic database and online search. Now these are the electronic database is available. Manual method we are not detailing, because you personally go to a library, take book, journals and read, sit and read. That is the electronic database. And there are a lot of methodological aspect is there that we will discuss later. And electronic database, under the electronic media, these are the database available, because this is a previously stored material about a particular topic. For example, in the cancer literature, cancer lit, all the published work up to January 2020 or March 2020, I am collecting and storing as in a computer disk or in 10 or 50 disk, and you can purchase that or you can utilize that. So this is a electronic database, and so many databases are available. So this is a list of few databases. One is called as CINAHL. This is a cumulative index to nursing and allied health literature. CINAHL, cumulative index to nursing and allied health literature. This is published every year. From January to December, what are the different literature published in that year, the abstract and sometimes the important points, otherwise and subject wise, will be published in the next year January or February to the latest, and you can purchase that. And the normal cost at present is around 5 lakhs per year for CINAHL, approximately 5 lakhs. So that ranges. So this is all the literature that is published throughout the world, where the CINAHL indexed journals is an indexing system. So this is CINAHL. The second is Medline. It is called the Medical Literature Online. So this is all about different topics. For example, it starts with AIDS, maybe second, so many articles about AIDS or so many things about starting with the A. So similarly, B, C, D, diseases or disease conditions, health related states, all those things will be there published. Medicines, vaccines, so many things will be there available in the Medline. Then next is the MEDLARS. This is the Medical Literature Analysis and Retrieval System. This is called Cochrane. That also will discuss detail. Is there in the syllabus to discuss detail. This is a CD-ROMs from Cochrane library. This is the library that is existing. So that is a library, means it's a reading thing, but at the same time that library is having electronic database also. So this is a Cochrane library is publishing, is giving CD-ROMs that we call as the Cochrane. Then Cancer Lit, that is all the literature related to cancers. Then AIDS Line is there, AIDS literature online. There is something called CHID. This is a combined health information database. Health Star, Health Service Technology Administration Research. So these are a few examples of electronic databases available. Now when we look into compare between manual method and electronic method, so before that there are internet search is there. So internet search is using a search engine. It can be a Google or MSN or Firefox or any type of Google engine. You can search. Then PubMed is there. There are so many other search agencies also there. So you get the available material and read. You can take a printout. Sometimes you have to give a payment for some. With the free materials are also available, so that you can get from the electronic media. But essentially there are a lot of differences between a manual method and electronic method. So what are the differences between these two? Manual method use printed or written sources, whereas electronic method use electronic devices. Manual method is more time consuming because you have to travel to a library, for taking book you need time, then you have to turn pages, sit and read, so it's a time consuming, whereas electronic is less time consuming. You can sit in your room. If you have internet facility, you can search anything you want. Okay, now the third difference is accessibility to most recent information in manual method, because a journal that is published now in September also sometimes will be available in the library, whereas electronic is accessibility only to the programmed information. Only if that is programmed in the computer or into the system, it will be available till so that will take some time. Then the next difference is you are able to get primary and secondary sources in manual, but electronic is always a secondary source. Manual, the review is complete, whereas review is partial and supplement in electronic method. In manual method, keyword is less important, whereas keyword is critical in electronic method. What is a keyword means? For example, you want to search a topic, so you have to give a topic name. For example, you are selecting a topic called you want to study burden of burden in caring schizophrenic patients or psychiatric illness. What is a burden in caring patients with psychiatric illness? That is your study. So in which word if you give, you will get maximum material. For example, if you are giving psychiatric illness, you may get millions of journals, but caregiving in psychiatric illness, you may get again maybe lakhs of journals. But what is the burden of caregiver in giving care to psychiatric illness? Burden of caregiver of psychiatric patients, you get thousands of articles. So that is the actually your study. You want article, only this 1000 article is needed. So improper keyword if you are selecting, you will not get the correct article. Instead of that, if you are giving a keyword like psychiatry or mental disorders, you will not get the needed articles. So the keyword is very critical in electronic media. Unless you use the correct keyword, you will not get the needed articles. Whereas keyword is less important in manual method because you are personally going there and selecting. So manual method is more costly because you have to travel, all those things, but the electronic method is less costly. But once if you have a computer and all the accessories, it is less costly. Otherwise you have to spend more time, more money for purchasing computer, all those things. So the manual method you can rely completely because the first-hand information, but electronic method is less reliable because it is fed by another person. Another person only is giving this article to the computer media. So it's some chance of errors or entry all can be there in the electronic media. Then you can cross-reference is possible. As I mentioned before, cross-referencing is possible in manual, but cross-reference is not possible in electronic media because they will not give much references. Then manual method, there is no role for mechanical failures, but lack of skill and mechanical failure will affect the quality of in using electronic media. And the manual method is the most acceptable, whereas electronic method is the widely used method. So this is essentially the differences between manual method and electronic method in literature review. So we'll stop our class with this, and we'll continue with the next slide, that is the steps in research process and other parts of literature review in the next class. Okay.